Hi friends, my name is Megan and welcome to episode 123 of a Naughty Mess Knitting Podcast. It is very early in the morning here on December 11th. Can you believe it? We are already almost halfway through the month and I have a lot of stuff to get done still this month. I am going to be taking the last 2 weeks of the year off probably. So hopefully I'll just find some extra time to do that. But I do, have a kid and I'll probably be spending more time with her doing some fun stuff for the holidays and whatever. A lot of family things too. So let's just go through all the fun stuff. If you are new here, hi, welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name is Megan. I live in the Pacific Northwest with my husband, Mike, our daughter, Theo, our dog, Winter, and my mom, Cindy, and we are mostly here to talk about knitting things, though I don't have any crochet right now. I do crochet like 10% of my projects, maybe. I was doing some embroidery and cross stitch this year, and I spin yarn. Actually, nothing but knitting today, and one acquisition. And then books. And then, yeah, I think that's it. So, I go through all the normal things, but I'm wearing all those types of things. So, welcome, and I hope you enjoy. And if you're back, friends, hi, here we are. I finished something. Doesn't that feel good? Not like it's been a long time since I finished things, but I finished like several small things lately. And I feel like cardigans, it's really funny. So I don't give them a ton of priority because I don't like to work on them. I don't love to knit flat as much. Like, also, I just feel like they're a little fussier and I wear a pin usually. This one I knit all regular purling, not Portuguese purling, which is my preference, because of the yarn, because it was breaking the one time I tried to Portuguese purl with it. And I was like, right, distance. So, but I was going to tell you the numbers for this is like, this is a little stats thing. I don't know the exact number, but I think it's almost like easy stockinette sweater takes like a third of the time as any cardigan for me. Like, all cardigans just are on my needles for much longer than anything else. So having 3 cardigans on my needles at the end of the year has been like, let's get these done. Okay. Also, this is very warm and I decided to wear a long sleeve underneath here. I don't really know why, but I am like very hot in my office right now. It is early in the morning. I did just shower, so I'm gonna take my socks off so I can cool down a little bit. I might need those back on later, but yes, I'm gonna stand up so we can look at it. Sorry if you're new and you're like, what is she talking about? This is the Oversized Seasons cardigan by Haley Smedley, who's Ozetta on all the places, Ravelry, Instagram. And I knit this with 2 strands of knitted in. So let's stand up and look at what it looks like now that it's done. I did block it. I wet blocked it, which I was not going to do at the beginning, but I did. And yeah, let's look at the fit and then let's talk about numbers. Okay, I got a new tripod stand, so or like light situation here. So I'm gonna just like leave it for today. Okay, it's so cute. Do you like it? It's oversized for sure. I think we'll tell you how much, we'll go through numbers in a second, but it's definitely oversized. It's well over 50 inches. Cute. It's so cute. Okay. Sleeves, cute. Nice. Okay, I like how big the sleeves are for the look of this, and I did block this to give myself like 1 inch more in this section. I didn't stretch anything else out just to get it to be a little more hip length. Before that, I mean, it wasn't a lot, but it just hit in a place that is like a little bit awkward for me for like pants, and this is where I would prefer it to sit, especially because it's so oversized. Like, I know some people really like short and oversized, and to me, on my body, that looks like a little bit strange. So I prefer this. I think this is good. Let's get a little close so you can see how beautiful this half fisherman opened up. It's really pretty. It's such an interesting stitch. Because it's a half fisherman, it just like, yeah, it looks a little, I mean, it's definitely different than like brioche, which mimics fisherman stitch, right? But like the way that it opens looks really different. Anyway, I will sit down and then we can talk about all the things. Oh, let me show you from the back. That was the part also I was a little bit afraid of, like, if this is too short in the back, like, it just, I don't know, weird. Okay, I feel happy with how this blocked out though. Yeah, overall, really, I don't know, glad about it. This is how I'll probably take a lot of pictures. I'm sure I'll have a picture up here and once I sit down, but I've not taken them yet. I did finish this on Saturday. Saturday. I don't know, Friday or Saturday. And then I think I put in my notes Saturday, so let's call it that. I blocked it immediately. And then I squished out all of the water. Okay, so what I did for blocking, because I wasn't going to, I do think it was a good thing to do. It did soften quite a lot, and I didn't have like, there's just a little bit of unevenness in stitches, and also like I wanted that bottom length, and I didn't want to sit there and steam it for like a long time just in that area and then have it like look different or whatever, so I just wet blocked it. I don't know if there's tips on wet blocking knitted in, and I just did it the way I normally do. I put it in cold water with wool wash. It was really stinky. I think this is like the stinkiest yarn because I think this is the least transformed of yarn that I have. I don't remember with my Metropolitan, which is my first knitted in project, if that was like particularly stinky, but this was very stinky, like very sheep smelling. I put it in for like, I think I did it overnight. And then I'm pretty sure that, or like it was several hours, which a lot of times I forget about things, and so it is several hours anyway, but it was not like 15 minutes. And then I did the towels. I did 2 towels, rolled it, and it was like a huge thing to step on. And it was still quite wet, but I also I didn't like wring it out a lot in my sink, and so I did that twice, and then it was like dampish. I have an OXO meshy sweater dryer thing, and so I put it on that, and I just pinned at the bottom. So like, because of the way the mesh is, you can pin into the mesh. It's not like the best, and it's not as sturdy, so like you can't be as precise with it, but just to pull the bottom down a little bit, and then I pinned at the shoulders just so that it didn't like move. That's all I did. Then I tried it on and I loved it. Oh, I didn't really give you a close-up of the buttons. These are some vintage buttons, and here's what I'll show you because they are cool. These are like the toggle style buttons, and I have like just tied it on really, but this is like leather. This fully is like a leather wrapped button. It's a leather wrapped button that has like a leather like loop. Like that's how, there's no like plastic involved. I mean, I'm sure there's plastic underneath, but anyway, they're very like lightweight, and I have only 3 of these in like the stash of buttons between myself and my mother. We have a ton of vintage buttons because there's this old fabric shop that used to be really close to our house in Pennsylvania when we were growing up, when I was growing up, and they went out of business at one point, and just like all the buttons were like, a scoop of buttons was like 50 cents, and so like I think we both got like not even many dollars worth, but we have tons of buttons, all different shapes and sizes. And so there are many that don't have lots of pairs, like they didn't come on nice like cardboard paper things, they're just like buckets of them, right? Let's talk about modifications first and then numbers. So mods, first of all, this is super off gauge. I'll put the actual gauge measurement inside of Ravelry, but it's supposed to be like 15 stitches in 4 inches, and I cannot be more than 13, which I think is what I measured pre-blocking. It didn't open up a lot after blocking, like widthwise, I don't think. So off gauge, which also meant I actually knit, I'm pretty sure, like all the increases and stuff per pattern, but I do think it sits a little lower than it would, like I mean, and my row gauge is like horrendously off for the sleeves, so it must be off for the body. But I didn't have to knit that much body then, that was fine. Let's see. And then for the sleeves, okay, I just had the regular amount of pickup. And I was doing decreases. I did the first decrease as written, and I was like, I measured it then. I was like, holy, I'm gonna be able to do like 2 decreases before the sleeves are over. And like, what is my sleeve situation gonna be then? So I did a much more rapid decrease. You can see the little poofs there. Those are, you decrease, because this is half fisherman's, you decrease 2 at a time. So it's 4 whole stitches, which is why you do it a little bit like less rapidly. If this was 2 size, that would make sense. So I just did every like 6th row or 6th or 8th row maybe, rather than like the 22, or there was like a lot more in between for the other way. So and I just did one sleeve mostly, and then I did the other. You were here with me while we did this on the podcast, and then I finished them, right? I did do sewn bind offs. We can talk about that in a second. And then I don't think that it's that noticeable. And I mean, I'll put the picture up, so maybe you will see here. At least to me, in inside light, it was not that noticeable that my bottom, like this much, is one strand of definitely the same color and one strand of definitely not the same color. Very close, but the second color was a little bit tanner, and I only had one, like, it was not even a half a skein. It was maybe like 36 or something grams, and I needed that to get to the length I needed to get to. So I just held it with one strand of what I had left in the other cake. When I was knitting it, I didn't find it to be very obvious. When I blocked it and like laid it, I like looked at it and I was like, I don't really see, there's not like a line. So I'm gonna hope that when we take pictures, it just looks fine. Anyway, this did take like 2.5 days to dry. I took it out of Mike's office Monday morning. Oh, maybe I did finish on Friday and blocked it on Friday night, overnight to Saturday. So anyway, that's what I have to tell you about mods and things. So let's talk about some numbers. The bust ended up being 54 inches. I knit a size 4, which was supposed to be 48 inches, knowing that I was likely going to be off gauge. I've never been on gauge with Nuded, and granted, I've only knit 2 things with it, but I knew the row gauge also, like, it just doesn't play that nicely. It doesn't want to be small. I mean, it can be small. Held double, though, I was very interested to see like how floofy it would be, and it's quite floofy. The length from shoulder to hem is 22 inches, which is a good spot for me. That's like a perfectly good length. And underarm to hem is 11 inches, also good. Knew that would hit me okay. Sleeve circumference is 21 inches. Now, I am a lady with large arms, but they're this big. It is like, it's quite large, and I don't think I have anything that's got like this much space. But honestly, I was like thinking about this because I was wearing a sweatshirt the other day, and I was like, this is not very different than like sweatshirts just have big arms generally, like that commercial sweatshirts you buy, right? So that's like this feel very much. Sleeve length is 17.5 inches, which again, this is sitting like kind of far away from my body, so that's, that's over part of my hand. Cuff circumference is 8 inches. The V-neck depth, when I laid it buttoned from the back of the neck to like right here, was 9.5 inches, which is quite deep, but I'm not going to wear this by itself, so that's fine. I do think it softened because of washing. Like, it was feeling, not only I always say you should block your things, but I didn't know if I really wasn't planning to block this Nudiden thing, because I didn't really think, I don't know, I just didn't want to. But I do think it actually transformed it quite a lot. Like, it softened it. The drape is a little bit nicer. The sleeves feel less stiff. That's probably the thing I noticed the most when I put it on. Because I did put it on before without buttons. But I do think like the sleeves feel noticeably like softer and like less stiff. And overall, everything, it feels softer. It feels softer outside, and I was wearing a t-shirt and it felt a little bit softer like on just like my arms also as well. Yeah, I do think I'll wear this, and I'll definitely wear it like outside. someone was like, if you live in a place, like it could be a jacket. And I was like, it is kind of jackety. I would wear it outside here. It does rain a lot when it's cooler. But I feel like in January, there's going to be several days where I could probably like wear this in lieu of a coat. If I'm running errands and don't have to be out of the car for a long time. Like if it is like not, you know, we get misty days, but we get a lot of like, January is nice actually, but it's cold. So I would do this as long, I mean, it's holy, so I'd probably have to wear a long sleeve under it, but I feel like it's so cute. I will get some wear out of this for sure. It's my first white or off-white type of sweater that I've made for myself. If you're new here, you may not know this, but like I'm not a beige girl. So like, you know, not all there's lots of podcasters who are also not beige girls, but there's a large contingent that are, and I am not one of those people. So this is kind of exciting because this is one of my very first very neutral type of knits. I'm excited about though. I think it's really cute. So let's rate really quick the pattern and the yarn. Pattern was fine. I think I said this like early on in reading it, this is I think an earlier Ozetta pattern. It's written kind of confusingly. Okay, so I say that, but I also think she put resources with this so you can do increases along with her in a video. And though I think the written instructions are clear enough, I do think the videos were really nice. And I actually just did the first like whole little bit of like the first increase. It's like 4 rows I think that she has videos for, and each row has its own video. And I did all 4 of them with a video because that was just like, it was late at night and it was easier to do than doing a bunch of reading. But I do think it's confusing that in the written pattern, she has a couple of pieces where she'll say part of the written instructions, but then give pertinent instructions like later on for that row. If you read through the whole pattern first, you would probably be fine to like make a circle back to yourself, like, hey, pay attention to this thing there. Otherwise, I feel like it was like, even one of them, it was like, you know, knit or like work X stitches, do something, and then at the bottom it was like you have to start with a purl stitch, and I was like, why would you not just put that above? Anyway, so fine pattern wise. The writing, the pattern itself, like I think the dimensions would work out if you were on gauge, and I think that it's very cute both on gauge and off gauge, so that's what it is. And then I think the nudidin is I'm not going to also become a nudidin girly. Like I'm not going to buy a whole bunch of nudidin and make lots of projects in nudidin. Or any unspun. I have not used Manchalopus, and I have not used the Icelandic one. And I don't know that I will. I don't really hate the experience of knitting with it. It is a little cumbersome. I don't even know. You can't travel with it really well. You have to kind of focus on what you're doing. You have to like really make sure you're like unwrapping your yarn in a pace that's like you don't have too much in your lap to get like tangled, but also you can't pull just from the yarn. Like I'm used to just like yanking on a ball of yarn or whatever. So it feels like a little bit like you need some finesse while you're knitting, and I'm not a finesse person. So it's you know, it's a little bit of a trial, but I did really enjoy most of this process, and I would do it again. I actually do have some green that is like a soft green color. I just did this because that's where it is in my room, that I will be making something for Mike. And then once I'm out of the nudidin, I have a still more pink for my Metropolitan, but I think I'm going to pause on working it. But I do want to make that for Mike for his 2026 sweater. So and that's it's funny because I'm gonna like, oh yeah, I want to make that and whatever, and it's nudidin held double, and he is like, it's not like he's even a hot person that he's like so hot and he couldn't wear that, but like he doesn't wear sweaters very often unless we're going somewhere, and it's always like a place with a lot of people, and like I'm gonna give him an Aran white sweater. I don't know if he'll ever wear it, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I can't wear that color and I want it out of my stash. Oh, and last thing to share is I used all the yarn. So I know I just said I needed to use that other one to use it. I had 2.5 grams left. A row took me a little bit over 3. So I knew once I got to like, it was like 4.5, that I was like, okay, I gotta do this to bind off. And I thought I'd actually use a little bit more, but what I did to bind off is, and this was a tip from somebody on the internet, that you don't even have to really wet it, but you just take a small part of your two strands and you rub them together. So you're creating a little friction. So you're creating just something that's a little stronger. And then you sew off, and then you get to the end of that. And I did it like maybe 8 times just so I could get, maybe even more than that. So I could get, and then I did wet splice, like spit splice, like got them wet and then rubbed them together at the end so that they were very strong to continue sewing. But then the rest of the strand, I just kind of like, it was, my hands were damp then, and I was just like rubbing the yarn together to get it to be strong enough to bind off. So that's how I did that. And it was fine. It was, I mean, it was honestly like, it was a little bit annoying, but it was totally fine. Like, not a big deal. Okay, because I used all but 2.5 grams, my full weight of the sweater minus buttons is 547 grams. So 5.47 skeins. And that is so much yards. 3,079.6 yards. That's so many yards. That's how many I just got out of stash. So that feels very good. Let's go to projects. I did actually wash my yarn that I finished last week, but I did not bring it down here because it's still like a tiny bit damp. It did take me like the entire week to wash it. So, but yeah, I don't have that to show you, and I don't have anything on the wheel right now. And I'll probably do one more thing before the year ends, but I'm focused on knitting because I've got knitting stuff I want to get done, and I've got some cookie doughs that I've been making and some other stuff going on. So not the focus right now. And I'm not even gonna really go through every project. Well, I'll go through most of them. So first, let's go through the Mila. This is the Mila Cardigan by Sorry Nordland, who is Sorry N on Instagram. And I'm a little tangled here because I have 2 balls of yarn connected because I have 2 sleeves started. So this is the sleeve I was working on last week. And I was partway done. And then this is the sleeve for this week. I added, yes, that I added. So it's actually, I feel like it's hard to tell where the sleeve starts because there's not like such a defined line on this side. It's right here. And it's right here. And I do think these skeins are a little bit lighter than the body. I typically do this. So if I have some left over, but not a lot for like the back or wherever a side that I'm finishing, I will leave that to start the sleeve. Okay, I did that this time, and you can see where the new skein was joined right here. It's definitely a different color. I got these all at the same time from Explorer Knits. It was not a sweater quantity dyed for me, though. It was like at a thing. To my eyes, they all looked the same. It was very like there was no difference. But I do think that even this sleeve is slightly lighter. So whatever I was using, some part of my like body was a little bit darker. This sleeve is going to be lighter. I am not going to reknit it, and B, I don't know, even like I'd have to do some, like, I don't even know that I have a skein like that I would be able to tell is exactly the same color as this or something. I don't care. I'm just going to reknit. I'm just going to knit it. I'm not going to reknit it. That's crazy. I think the other side, it's more obvious. You can like really see where the line is. And I think it's just because of that pattern. This side, less obvious. Also, probably wear it on this side more often. Also, don't care. Doesn't matter to me. And so I will have a slightly, you know, 2/3 of a sleeve, slightly different color on this, and it'll be fine. I did not add anything to the body, but I did do these sleeves. So I did try this on yesterday, and they are looking really good. This one I have like, I think 2.5 inches or 3 inches left. It looks short, but it does have a drop on me. And so maybe it was 3 inches, and then I'm going to do the sleeve. So that's actually per pattern, but I do think that my row gauge is a little off. So I think I won't have quite as many decreases, but honestly, the sleeve is feeling okay how it is. And so I might do a rapid decrease right at the cuff. If I want to get to the cuff number of stitches, we'll see, maybe, I don't know. So here it is. I would like sleeves to be done this week. That's my goal. I am going to skip the cowl this week because it is upstairs, but I did not add anything other than like 2.5 inches of body. I want to pick up sleeves for that one also this week, but I didn't get there. And so nothing exciting to talk about, though it's gorgeous and I love it. Here's a thing to talk about. Not a lot also on this one, but this is Nurtured, which is a sweater pattern by Andrew Mowry. It's bottom up. So I'm just giving you a sleeve progress here. I'm at the next increase, and then I have 2 more after that. So I'm pretty close. Let's hold the other one behind it. Yeah. So like 3 inches of sleeve left. And then I've not got back to the body, and I need to get back to the body, and I need to wind a couple more skeins because I am holding, oh, I didn't even talk, sorry. The Mila is made with earthy DK from Explore Knits and Fibers in the color Squim. This is the color Northwest from Sugar Plum Circus in their smooth sock, which is like a 75-25. Let me just tell you for sure. Yeah, 75-25, 463. So like a lightish fingering. I mean, that's not like, I wouldn't consider that a light fingering, but it is a slightly lighter. I'm holding it 3 to get an Aran weight. Okay. So it's a lot of yarn happening over there, but it's actually like been totally fine. It is a little bit weird when you're knitting, like it is like easy to drop one and not necessarily notice it, but because of the stitch pattern, and I'm slipping a lot of stitches, I feel like it's pretty easy to like, if I just missed one, I can like feel it, and I can like on the next row, I can just like fix it. So I do have to pay attention. I do have to kind of look a little bit while I'm knitting that one. Okay, I'm also going to skip Nana the Duck this week. I hope that I can get some more progress on her next week, but she has like now got some neck and her face, and that's it. And so I just didn't bring her down, but we'll bring her down next week. Because I also have 3 new cast-ons. So we have stuff to talk about. The first one I cast on this week is a test knit. So this is the only test knit I'm in right now. I actually have 2 tests that are like, testing is over for one, but pattern's not released. Testing is still on for another, but the pattern's not released, obviously. Testing is still in progress, but I've been done with it. And then this one, and this is not due until January 15th. But I decided to actually use stuff in stash for this. I think, did I show you this last week? Rather than, I think I might have shown the colors to you last week, right? So this is the Creativity Shawl by Tori Yu. I decided to use stash rather than handspun for this, partly because I had it. It was easy. I didn't need to figure out if it was sport or not because they are sport weight skeins. And then I just knit with it, partly because it was the background color that I was like not sure if I had something to go really well with like a background color I had already in sport. Anyway, this is a shawl that is going to come out in January then, and it is of the Creativity collection. So I did the cowl earlier, so it just has like a main color and then a contrast color around the ridges, and so it's the same, it's really the same stitch pattern, like the same number of rows. It's a 6-row repeat. And I think this was a lot easier than the cowl to like memorize. The stitch pattern I memorized during the cowl, but because you're doing like the increases change like twice or 3 times inside the pattern because of the shaping of that like bandana thing, that I feel like I never really got like settled into the pattern. This one I'm already like, once I got to like here, I was like, oh yeah, and so you're increasing on 1 row. So every 6 rows you increase. And so it's kind of a more tapered sort of skinny shawl, but you do a certain amount of inches until you, and it should have like a certain depth, but there's not like a stitch count. It's really just a certain number of inches. And she did this because there are 4 weights, 2 sizes each. So each size has just like get to this number of inches. And so it'll be a different number of stitches per weight because the gauge is different per yarn weight. That makes sense. So you'll get a very similar look, and you could use whatever you have in stash. So obviously more yardage for sport and fingering, less yardage for DK and worsted, but I think it's gonna be great. Anyway, what I'm using is Farmer's Daughter Fibers Recollect in the color, I think that's Pumpkin Patch, but it didn't have labels and I got it from like a mystery box. And then Close Call. And I decided to go from the inside of the skein for Close Call because I wanted this blue, more of this blue in there. Even though this is going to be a gift knit, sorry, I just like moved those so fast away. Even though this is going to be a gift knit, I didn't want like just a little tail end of the blue. I wanted more of the blue. So that's what I decided. And that's how it's looking. I think it's looking great so far. We're like moving into the blue now-ish. And so we'll have like a big part of the middle that'll be like more blue, and then it'll go back to some like brighter yellow on the other side of it. And I will gift this to somebody, and I don't know who, and I'm really liking the process, but I've not prioritized this much. Just like did a little, like an hour or two on it. And so, yeah, I do think that's going to be a great one though to do. It's like slightly more engaging than like the Simple Thing shawl, or like, which is kind of Sophie-esque, which I also think is a great way to show off handspun. But if you have less handspun, like if you only have one skein, that's an amazing way to use it. And you can just match whatever your handspun is for the background color, and then away you go. I have this skein that I spun up this fall, which I really love, and is like a light DK. And I would like, this is still not enough, I think, even for like a Simple Thing shawl. It is 2 braids worth of spun yarn, but I do think like it's still not enough for a Simple Thing shawl like that would be any kind of length. But I think like even just adding a little bit that you do of the contrast color, you could get a lot. So I do think I could do this as like the main color and like a white, or I don't know, something. Again, this will be a gift knit probably. I don't know, this color's okay. Like there's not so much yellow in here that I wouldn't wear it, but I'd be okay gifting this one to somebody. So ideas for the future, just expanding the pattern repertoire over here. The second thing I cast on, I'm almost done with, but I didn't finish the last part on purpose. So I met up with Ariel this weekend. So I'm sorry if this is going to spoiler anybody who watches her podcast too, because we did do something together. Hers look quite different than mine. But we decided to jump on the bandwagon for some felted slippers. Now, I'm not going to go into it. If you're on Craftsnark or you're all over, I don't know, wherever people are posting things. It was on Instagram also. There was some beef happening around the sailor slippers. Okay. I don't want to go into it. You can have your opinions about how all that was handled, whatever. But it did bring to light another pattern called Sarah's Striped Slippers. Now, Sarah's Striped Slippers are designed by Marianne May, who is the designer behind May Made Knits. She's a Scandinavian knitwear designer and does not have a ton of patterns out. 11 designs. Some like interesting ones, mostly like accessories. I think there's 1 sweater, 2 sweaters. So not a lot of designs, but like this pattern in particular is also, it's I think constructed very similarly to the sailor slipper. So I'll still go through that, but it is a totally different gauge, though using the same yarn, and like quite different. And the reason that she wrote this one up the way that she did was because she says that her sister's name is Sarah, and Sarah's quite hard on her slippers. So she wanted to do something a little bit more durable. So she did a larger gauge because it will felt tighter. Okay. And that's what I'm hoping for this anyway, for me. Okay. Now, let me show you this hilarious slipper. Are you ready? By the way, I finished this first one and I was like, ah, awesome, done. And I was on the couch with Mike. And Ariel and I knit quite a large part of the first one together. Then I brought it home and I finished it that night. This was on Sunday. And then I put it down next to my foot, just like, because it's a funny thing that people have been taking pictures of. And Mike was like, what is that? Like, what is happening? is this a joke? And then I did not tell him what was going to happen to it afterwards. So I asked him, like, I brought it back out the other day and he was just like, he's like, I just don't understand. And I was like, well, do you want to know or do you want it to be a surprise? And he's like, no, I want it to be a surprise. So I won't tell him what they're supposed to look like. But here it is. Here's my slipper for my foot. Do you think it will fit? It's quite hilarious. Okay, so let's talk about construction because I have another one here that is not together yet. You start with the heel. You knit whatever designated rows, etc. And then you pick up along one edge, you cast on stitches, pick up the others, and then you just knit this long portion of the with some toe decreases. And then you just start, you don't like no seam or whatever, you just start your sole color with some increases, which was interesting because I wouldn't have thought of this. Like I never have felted anything in my life, and I also have never knit a slipper. Knit many socks though, right? But the construction of this, because of the sides and stuff, is that like the top of your foot will be a little bit wider than the sole of your foot because it's just like it's supposed to be like the sole of a shoe, right? So and the top has to like wrap around the whole part of your foot. Anyway, so less stitches you increase to, and then you just knit a long thing and long. Then you do a tiny bit of heel decreases, and then you sew it together. And when you sew it together, you get this gigantic, hilarious, floopy thing. I will show you the inside before we felt it so you can see. I did sew down on my ends, but I left a little bits of all of them. I might cut some of these a little bit more so that I just figured I could cut anything that was like still kind of out once it's felted. But I did mattress stitch it together, but now I'm kind of wondering if I should go and not do that. I don't know. It's got like kind of a lot of fabric between it. It's gonna be so hard. Like I might just do these. Honestly, I don't really I mean, I don't love these colors. Obviously, this is like beigest thing I've knit, even like beiger than this thing. But I have a lot of this here, and you can even see it up here. This is all simply wool from Knit Picks that I got many years ago in like a sample pack to like see there, because they have these. This is like a two-tone color, and that's like a twist. It looks like this in the skein. So I have a bunch of that, and so I figured I would use that to make some slippers or some felted things. I was thinking that even earlier in the year, and that was one of the things I wanted to do this year is felt. So I need to get this felted this year. Anyway, so I don't know. The sailor slippers I know are seamed mattress stitch. This one just says seam, sew together. You are supposed to flip it inside out and sew it together, so I actually kind of imagined that she meant a whip stitch, and maybe that would be a little bit smaller, but I was worried that would be too bulky. Though now that I've mattress stitched this one, I'm like, that's feeling a little bulky on the inside seam. And I could kind of, I might actually, maybe I'll just do this one a whip stitch or start it that way and see how I like it. And then I can always rip out a this mattress stitch is not hard to rip out. You really can just yank it. So we'll see. It was not super arduous to do it either way. So I'll kind of just see what I feel like will feel the nicest on the inside. Cause once it felts, it will be like a hard line. Right. And so you just want to probably minimize that is the thing. Though I did read on the pattern for the Sarah's striped slippers that some people had just chosen different things to do for, because like I think because the seaming instructions are rather sparse, that they just chose whatever. Like, oh, I did like I think some people did like a single crochet chain around, which also seems like a lot more yarn, that you don't want to do that. But they were like, yeah, this is a lot too much yarn and a really bulky feeling on the inside and uncomfortable. So would rather not have it be uncomfortable. But I am gonna get some sock stop, whatever that stuff's called, like the slippy glue stuff that you can put on the bottom, and I'll draw some designs or whatever so I can have that. And I'm gonna felt, and hopefully Ariel and I can felt together. And I think that a couple girls in our knitting group said that they have front loading washers, which I've heard is better for felting. I have a top loading washer that does not have an agitator, and so I think actually maybe like top loaders with agitators are the best, but like I don't have that. I also don't wash any of my clothes on hot. So I don't want to throw a bunch of things in there. I mean, I would do towels in there, and that's what I've heard too, is like you just need them like to hit against something. I don't know though if you have a top loading no agitator washer, if you can even really felt, even if you put towels in. I mean, like it's supposed to mimic agitation, but it's like gentler on your clothes, which like for felting is, I don't want it to be gentler. Ariel and I are going to do these together, and I might make like one more pair before we do it. So I also like get more things in there. But yeah, we'll see. And hopefully it works out. I held worsted double. And Ariel used some petite wool for me, and so she held hers single. So also I'm kind of like interested to see like how different the density is on those two. But yeah, it should felt quite aggressively to give us a nice condensed small slipper, and we'll just see if it works. I don't know. That was kind of a fun thing. So there's one thing. Okay, and then I did start the Oxbow socks for my niece, and I don't know where they are. They are missing, so I only started one of them, and I have no idea where it is. So I will show that next week when I find it. Hopefully I find it. It's in this house somewhere. But let's talk about the book snake. If you're new, I talk about books every week and what I've read, not what I'm reading, because it's always a lot of things. But I have been using this as my book tracker. I'm still not stuffed. I didn't stuff last week either. So, but I am all sewn down. I actually moved a little bit of the fluff down too, because I have this like weird, really skinny section. And so I think we're at like a good stuffed place right now. And so I will do that. But this was upstairs with me last night, and it is very early in the morning, so I just didn't stuff it yet. But I've got some fun colors this week. So this one here, our first one, is Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey. Tessa Bailey has a couple, she has so many books, right? But she has a couple of Christmas ones. Wreck the Halls I read last year, which I loved. I loved it. This one I actually really enjoyed as well. So this one is about like I guess I don't think I was expecting it to be that about. I didn't read the about anyway. I just was like, I like Tess Bailey, I'll read this. So I think I did a good job with the color covers, but essentially it's about a girl who gets out of prison and then is trying to rebuild her life. And she was in for 4 years, and she like took some community college classes. Anyway, the thing that she wants to do is like the window displays at a department store. But like, if you've ever been in New York City and on Fifth Avenue, famously, there are many window displays. I actually think like even in Seattle, like the Macy's downtown has like really pretty big window displays, right? So anyway, this happens in New York City on Fifth Avenue. This is a not real store, but it's called Vivant. And she's dreaming about a window display when she meets a person who she says she doesn't like the one that's up there. And she like makes a face or something, and he asks her like what her opinion is. And she gives it to him, and then all things, anyway, she does some window displays, and the love interest is her boss, and there's like a lot of, you know, I think like he dealt with it well, the power dynamics and other things, but like he's also like a cinnamon roll human, and though still somehow exactly what she wants in the bedroom. So, you know, I guess you can find your unicorn man sometimes. But he's a really sweet leading man. Like, I really enjoyed him. I thought it was really fun. And that's it. That's all I have to say about him. I liked it. I thought it was a cute Christmas book. We have 3 Christmas books in a row. This one here, the blue, is for Snowed In, which is the second book of the, honestly, this is such, I didn't put the name, and I'm not going to do it again further down and the below. This is by Catherine Walsh, but like the series name of this is just Catherine Walsh Christmas Rom-Coms. That's not a series name. Like, give them a family name or something. Anyway, this is the second brother, Christian, from I don't even remember, from the first one, Molly and Andrew. Okay. So I don't remember their last name, but anyway, it's like that family. And this is about Christian and Megan. So, different spelling, which I also found a little bit funny. So my name is spelled Meghan, which is the Gaelic way to spell it. This girl in this book is Irish and her name is Megan, but without the H. So I found that interesting. Anyway, this is a fake dating trope. And then, as we know, all fake dating turns into true love. But it is, so Megan was a runaway bride in this small town, also from the small town, and it's her first time going back. And Christian is like the brother who, I don't know, he's trying to climb the corporate ladder, but doesn't know if that's making him happy. So it's the two of them fake dating and, yeah, trying to get their families off their back, but also like to show up to the town without seeming pathetic or something like that. So it was cute. It was very cute. I liked this one as much or more than the first one. I loved the first one too. So yeah. Okay. The second one, or this third one here, is called Not Another Christmas Rom-Com by AJ Pine. This is my first AJ Pine book, and I've got to tell you, it is another Christmas rom-com. The cover of this is so silly because like they're just wearing like ugly Christmas sweaters, and so I picked very Christmassy colors. Listen, I thought this one was fine. There were like some cute moments. There were some funny moments. But it is like an Audible first book, I think. Teddy Hamilton is the narrator for this, and I saw that and I was like, okay, I love Teddy Hamilton. And so I not that I'll just say yes to anything he narrates, but like I like really like enjoy him as the MMC narrator. So I went for it. But there are parts where like he like stops the reading to talk to you, but he's not talking to you as Teddy Hamilton. He's still talking to you. Anyway. There's a reason that he does it, but I thought it was like a little bit weird. It was fine. It was like forced proximity. Two people who meet and hit it off on a plane, and then they realize that their siblings are getting married. This is a weird thing to me whenever this happens in anything, because like there's no possible way in this day and age, if your sibling was getting married, even if they hadn't been with the partner for a super long time, that you've not seen a family photo or like done some sort of research. I don't know. I just feel like that's so strange to me. And maybe just like, and it's the sisters, like the brothers, maybe the brother just like is unaware and didn't like look at any pictures or whatever. I could believe that. But that your sister just like doesn't show you some family photos or like go over, I don't know. I just feel like that's so strange to me. Anyway, whatever. The forced proximity, and then, you know, and everybody in this family is keeping a secret. Okay, so here's two things that annoyed me. One is the secret for the older sister, the sister that's getting married, is not a secret. And this girl, for also being like a 30-year-old girl or whatever, is an absolute idiot for not understanding what was going on. Like she did not read the situation, and it was so obvious. And so that was like just frustrating because like she was being a real nincompoop about it, and like it was like causing tension, but it was just like such a, like so dumb. Second of all, there's another book thing within a book thing that I'm going to complain about this week. And just because I don't think it's that hard, everybody, to do like 1 second of research. Same with like last week with the Frodo Bilbo thing. Like you could literally look at an online article about The Hobbit and realize that it's about Bilbo and Frodo doesn't exist in it. You could have watched the movies and you would have known that. Okay. Annoyance here is actually that at one point she talks about how they go like a library thing in this like very small town where they're all staying, and there is the librarian is sick, so he reads The Night Before Christmas, and she says just like it's so annoying, so it's because she didn't even need to say anything, but she's like thinking in her head or whatever, like, oh, he was getting towards the end of the poem or the story, or I don't know what she called it, and said like the line, when I heard and sugar plums dance through their heads or whatever, I knew he was getting towards the end. And then he said, you know, Merry Christmas to all and to all, good night. Listen, I read that book every day because my kid is now very excited for Christmas to come. I've read it every day for the last 2 weeks. But even if you just opened it, this is not a super long poem, but that is the third stanza. Third out of more than 3. Like in our little Christmas book, it's in the 3rd page. Like the sugar plums dance through their heads. That's at the beginning. Everybody falls asleep and then Santa comes. Like, come on, like 2 seconds of research. Okay. Drives me nuts. I don't like it, everybody. I don't like when people are just so lazy. Like you wrote a whole book. You couldn't fact check one thing. Anyway, whatever. Done rant. Now let's do this red and silver one here. That is a little bit thicker because I did a DK plus a fingering, and when you stuff it, it's not that noticeable. And honestly, whatever. This one is called Tangled and Tinsel, and I'm gonna tell everyone right now, if you're looking for a Christmas book, this is not it. Like a regular Christmas book. If you're looking for smut that happens in winter, this is it. This is the one for you. This is a Why Choose snowed in, also forced proximity, this weekend only kind of situation. Very heavy on the smut. It takes a little bit for her to be convinced to participate. And then, and not even convinced, like she's pretty convinced in the beginning, but to like convince herself that whatever. And then nothing but smut for a large part of the book. And then they leave. And then there's like this little tiny bit that you peek into the future, right? So if that's what you're looking for, this is for you. I got this recommendation from Ginger and Spice, which is the Instagram gals that I really love. And they had some other spicy ones. And I've got one other one on my Kindle that I may read, but that's the one. It's the one I read first. And then this one is Shadow Princess, which is book 4 of the Zodiac Academy. And this is maybe my like favorite color right now, obviously, because it's like a me color. It's giving me like K-pop Demon Hunter vibes right now. It's like so pretty. It is, okay. The cover you can see here. I forgot the last Zodiac Academy, both for the colors and like for the cover, which I think was like this one here. I just did like all the covers for the audiobooks look the same. They're just like the Zodiac symbols. And then like they pick one that's like the focus and it's, you know, somebody in the story. I've not even really paid attention to those, but there's just like a splash of dark color in the background. This one is purple for the audiobook, but there are these like cool covers that show that, because it's about twins, show the twins on the cover. And I just forgot the last one. So I have like one that's outside of whatever, but I'm not going to get all of them on here anyway. So this one is about, I'm not going to go through a lot, but essentially fae girls who are figure out, like, grown up in the mortal world, figure out their fae. By figure out, I mean, they're taken from their homes. But they were like changelings, and they are orphans. They come back. They're the princesses of this realm, and they are fighting for their throne, I guess, essentially. But they're at magic school, and while they're at magic school this time, both you actually get to see their castle for the first time, and you pick up after the last book, where there was like quite a large thing that happened that finally revealed what they are, like their creature or whatever, but it also was bad and scary, and they're dealing with the bad and scary still after this, and the Shadow Princess is not one of them. It is in fact something else. And so it was a fine read. I still like, I now just kind of want them to like figure it out, and also bad things happen to both of the like love interests for each of them, and so also now I'm like, well, what the heck. And there are no more audiobooks. There's like the 5th audiobook, because these are dramatic readings, which I seriously do not love, but the 5th one is, all of them are after 3 are in 2 parts, or maybe even 1 and 2. Anyway, the second part of the 5th one is not out until January. So maybe I'll read the book, but also probably not. We'll see. So I have one acquisition this week, and this I got from the D-Stash server. I will say she included like a really cute little, this is a very good colored pom-pom, and this very cute little like made with love tag, little leather, faux leather tag. I don't know, I need to weigh these for the yardage, but this is a really good color combo from 2 different yarn lines that are more commercial, and I am craving a sweater in this color. And yes, I have other purple things I've knit and knit recently, and no, I do not have anything that is exactly like this color in stash, because I find that this color is a little bit hard to, like, maybe this is the closest. I have one up here that's like a purple, but that is like even more like a little bit more like wine leaning. This is more like eggplant. I really love this like deep purple, and that's even like washing it out a little bit. I think like in reality, that's probably the closest color, like right here. It is dark. It's dark purple. This is Sandnes Garn Sunday. This is also my first Sandnes Garn yarn. And so I'm like excited, which also garn, I'm pretty sure just means yarn, but from this brand. It's non-superwash. It is 50 grams, 235 meters. So like a lighter fingering, pretty light fingering. Because I think that'll end up being almost like 500 yards for 100 grams. Anyway, 100% merino wool. Okay. This is Fiber Space Cumulus, which I do have some of. I have not knit with it yet, but I do have some. And this color is aubergine, so eggplant. And this one is 46.72. So not helpful, but I think they are a really good match. So I'm imagining she probably bought this like in store because she could hold them up together, but like very, very close. This will give a really nice sheen, and I don't know what I'm going to make yet. So I bought this without a plan. I have a couple of pattern ideas. I wanted to weigh them though, because I was like close on a couple of my ideas with like the yardage for my size. And I probably won't make anything right this minute, but I really like it. And so I will throw this into stash stuff, and hopefully done buying from D-Stash this year. Not that I actually bought a whole lot from D-Stash, but I found a couple like sweater quantities I liked. Witchfire Fiber is still open till Saturday. If you haven't bought yet, I will say I'm the worst and have not bought yet. This has been a really crazy week around here. I'll give a quick life update, but I just have not purchased yet because I have so many plans. I need to narrow them down a little bit. And so hopefully I will do that like today or tomorrow morning and get my order in definitely before Friday evening. And that maybe that'll just be the reward for the longest week ever. So, okay. So just a little life update here is, I won't go into that much details because it's really, I mean, it's affecting me. So it matters to me, but it is not my life. But, Mike's dad, we did get a diagnosis. And so he is actually going to he started treatment this morning. Because that treatment is daily here in Seattle, they are staying with us. So both Mike's parents are here plus their dog, which is why I said dogs earlier, because both the dogs are here. They're actually at treatment right now. They had a really early session this morning. And so, yeah, dogs are hanging out, but they will stay with us for about 8 weeks till treatment is over. And, it's just a lot. That's a lot of disruption in our house. We're so glad that we have the space to have them here. But it's been a lot. It's been a lot emotionally for everybody. It's been a lot logistically for us. And so it's just life. Big things happen. Sad things happen. We continue on and try to keep up our spirits as much as possible. Knitting has been keeping me quite busy and keeping my mind off of it and letting me like escape a little bit into audiobooks, and we deal with the heavy stuff when we have to. And that's my like little mental reprieve before I go to sleep, so I can like get to sleep and get good sleep. Not happened this week, by the way. I've not been feeling extra stressed about it. Like we had some stuff to get ready, but like nothing crazy. But I think just like generally, like last night was a great night of sleep. I hit the pillow and I did not wake up until my alarm started going off. But 2 nights ago, Thea woke up in the mid, like after 3 hours, and then and she does not normally, but she was like getting progressively louder. So I actually went in and got her and laid with her for a little bit in our spare room. And she's not a co-sleeper. So she just ended up talking to me for an hour. It's like, Theo, mommy's tired. I cannot just have a conversation with you right now. And the night before that, I got almost no sleep. So it's just been a rough sleeping situation the last couple of days, but we'll be back at it. And I'm really excited. Actually, this weekend we have a very fun knit night planned, which we got on the books in October. So I'm glad we did, because life has been crazy and I needed this to look forward to, but I also like needed something concrete on the schedule to be like, I'm going to be gone. So I'll be gone for most of Saturday here out of my house, because we are doing cookie swap, which was my ask last year. And we did it last year, and is my ask always for any group of friends I have, because it's like, I love to bake cookies. I also love to enjoy other people's cookies. And so like we do a swap of things. Last year, what we did was we all got a cookie on a plate. We also took some home, but we all got a cookie on a plate and then ate them. And there's like 9 of us, and I think there were 7 or 8 of us here. But anyway, regardless, it was too many cookies, and everyone was like, we wanted to like eat anyway, it was too much. So this year I proposed cutting cookies so we can all enjoy some, but then more just like take them home. But also it's my birthday next week. My birthday is on Friday of next week. And so that'll be my last, so Thursday will be my last day of work for the year. But I will, that's so exciting. Wow, that's so exciting. So I have 6 more days of work before I'm done for the year, which is really exciting. But anyway, the thing that Emily started doing, and not that anybody has to do this in our knit group or whatever, but Emily like made herself her favorite cake the last couple of years, and then brought it to a close, near to time knit weekend or knit night. And I was like, I want to do that. Sometimes I like buy cakes, but like I like making cakes, and I want my like own special flavors. And so that's what I'm going to do. I still haven't decided what I'm going to make. It's between a s'mores cake, which is my very most favorite dessert, which is so weird, but I'm going to stand by that for the rest of my life. I don't eat them very often, but it's still my favorite thing. Like a Biscoff cookie kind of cake, or a which I actually just like sounds so good and holiday-y also, or peanut butter and chocolate of some sort cake, which also maybe more like vanilla. Like I actually kind of think I might do like a chocolate chip cake with like peanut butter cream cheese frosting is a little bit more my speed than a chocolate cake with peanut butter, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm not a fruit forward person. I do like I enjoy crisps and some other things, but like I'm like a chocolate for sure, but I like chocolate, not chocolate flavored things. It's a weird thing, but that's how I feel about it. So, other than like hot chocolate, I guess. Yeah. So anyway, those are the fun things happening here. So yeah, I have that. I'm going to make a cake tomorrow evening, and then ice it on Saturday. I got to bake some cookies for a cookie thing. And yeah, I'm really excited. That's a fun thing to look forward to. I don't have that many other knit things to go over. So I think I'm hoping at Cookie Swap this coming weekend, we'll talk through some more of our knit plans, so I can come back with, I want some more concrete plans. I've got 2 that I think I'm gonna stick with, and I went through this week and like shuffled some of my older yarns. Like I went through my tracker and looked at things pre-2024. Okay, that's maybe what I'll use as older yarn for my Make 9. And I still haven't decided if I'll do 2 Make 9s or if I'll do 1. But anyway, I definitely want to focus on getting some of my older stuff out of stash so that I can enjoy the things that come in. Can like sit here and be lovely. But also when I get things and I make plans and then they sit here, and then I don't want them to just languish forever. So it's also funny because then I get new things and I make plans, and do I just make them right away, or do I go back to the older things? I don't know. I guess this is a little bit, maybe I'll do a little bit of both. But I did say previously too from Flock, like I want to buy the flock things that I'll make. So I want to actually use the yarn that I'm purchasing. So I'm going back to 2023, the first year of flock, and I make some of those projects too. So those are things. If you have still knitting plans or goals and you haven't commented yet, but now you've thought of them, put them below. I always want to know. I did get a ton of comments about the end of year things, or like, no, not a lot of concrete things, but I definitely think I'll do a more truncated version of an everything I knit. Like, it's definitely not going to be a 3-hour long episode to just rehash all the things. And so we'll do something fun, but maybe my knit friends will have some ideas about that too. And because we were sick last time and we didn't meet up, I basically, I saw Ariel this week, but I haven't seen anybody in like 3 weeks, and I miss my friends. And so, yeah, anyway, I'm excited. Let me know what you've been working on. I always get so much inspiration from all of you. I want to know like the pattern, but also what colors are you making? What yarn are you loving? And if you ever get recommendations from me for yarn and then you did love or not love the thing that you made with it, I want to know that too. So yeah, if you have questions or anything like that, always open in DMs in Instagram and Discord. You can find me, and we'll do a Discord knit chat soon. Yeah, I actually think maybe we'll do it during the week next week, if possible, or like early Saturday, the 20th. So that's what I'm going to put out there right now, but I'll ask Mike schedule wise and let you know. Thanks for joining me. As always, I hope you had a fun time hanging out and that you got some good knitting or chores done. Move your body, stretch, and I'll talk to you next week.